Hey guys, today we're going to be working on another Yamaha Rmax. This right here is mine. This is the 2021 Yamaha Rmax XTR 4-seater. This right here is a customer's. This is a 2023 Yamaha Rmax limited edition. So this has all the goodies in it. It comes with a stereo stock, comes with the Adventure Pro in here. I have that as well, but it comes standard on these. This has the, oh yeah, one nice thing about this is it's got the electronic shock dampening, so that's good. This machine right here, like I said, it's a 2023 and it's got 3,059 miles. But yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna do a full service on this thing, and 3,000 miles, he has not touched the clutches in this yet, so we're gonna go ahead, tear them apart, see if there's any wear items that we need to replace. If not, we'll go ahead and re-grease it and throw it back together, and he'll be on his way. Now my Wolverine Rmax here had 1,600 miles when I bought it, and when I went ahead and serviced everything looked in good shape on this, but it had 1,600 miles. So I'm curious to see how after 3,000 miles, how this thing's held up. He's definitely done some riding. A 2023, 3,000 miles. Hopefully I'll have a return customer here and I'll see this thing maybe next year with 5,000 miles or something like that, and then we can judge from there how everything's holding up on these. But anyways, for now I'm gonna get this in the garage, get it torn down. Actually, I'll probably give her a little bath first because he said he washed it, but she's a little dirty. So yeah, I'll give her a wash, and then we'll go ahead and start tearing it down, draining all the fluids, and we'll go from there. There we go. Get the speakers built into the doors. It's nice. 3,000 miles. Let's see the hours on this. 187 engine out. 183.7 engine hours. So really not a lot of hours. That's pretty nice. Squeaky brakes. My brakes on my Rmax sound exactly like this, and the pads still had plenty of life left, so it was just kind of noisy brakes on these anyways. Stock brakes. Now I did take this thing up the road with the owner, and it drives smooth. I don't feel it just drives really nice still at 3,000 miles, which it should. It's a 2023, but where the clutch wasn't serviced yet, I was kind of wondering if it was going to have any flat spots. They might, but I don't feel it on the road. Let's go try her out right now. Yeah. Got it in trail mode. That's mostly what I run mine in. Right from the get-go. So from the get-go, you're going to feel that wet clutch. And this thing grabs nice. Obviously a little delayed because of the trail. You put it in sport, and it's a different ball game. It's instant power, but I don't run mine much in sport. So trail, nice steady increase in the RPMs. I'm not hammering on it or anything, just lightly feathering the throttle just to see the RPMs go up. Everything's upshifting good. Now we'll get on to it. We'll let her warm up a little bit. Now that she's warmed up a little bit, I'll get onto the throttle. I want to see where the RPMs are at when we're at full throttle. Hit 8,500 RPMs, slowing down, engine braking's working good. Make sure that engine braking doesn't let go. Sometimes they'll get worn out and they'll kind of free wheel, and this is not doing that at all. That's great. Let's get her in the shop. I pressure washed this thing, and I didn't, didn't use soap or anything, but that stuff is still stuck on there. So it's mainly just caked on dust. Anyways, gonna go ahead, pull the seats out, pull the middle console out here so I can access the clutch. First thing I'll do, come in here, jack it up, and check wheel bearings, bushings, brakes, all that good stuff. Go ahead and get it off the ground. Bearings are tight. Man. Bushings. This thing is... Check the other side. No play. Gotta use two hands to check. I'm pretty impressed so far. No bushing wear, no ball joint wear, no bearing wear. Let's keep moving on. Go ahead and remove a wheel. Check the brakes out. Alright, as far as the brakes go, you can see some scarring on the rotors, obviously. Pads are not half bad on this side. They look pretty decent. Can't see that side. Check these out. Pads are actually still pretty good, but you can see all the scarring. It's just from running mud, dirt, rocks get in there, and that's why these things are a little noisy. But honestly, the pads are still pretty decent. I'd say we're good for now. Alright, well, while we get the side off here, I'm going to take this tire, and we're actually going to rotate it to the back. The owner wanted me to rotate all the tires there because obviously the back ones are wearing a little bit more than the front. Not a huge difference, but that's what he wanted. And one thing nice about these Rmaxes is they have the same exact tire and rim, front and rear. Now on my Rmax 4, that is not true. They got a wider tire on the rear, so you couldn't do that. But, so coming back to this, the wheel bearings feel tight, back and forth. I am getting slight play in these bushings. So the knuckle bushings, little bit of play there. He wants to ride this thing soon, so I don't think we're going to replace him this time. But next time when he comes in, I'll be sure to have him on hand, and then we can change them out. And voila. Get that off of there. But yeah, as you can see, tires exactly the same. The rims are exactly the same. So it works out pretty good. And it means you can run one spare, and that'll be good for the front or the rear. Now, most people usually just carry around the front for a spare because you can still run the front on the back even if the back is wider. However, you wouldn't want to leave it like that. But anyways, let me show you. Yeah, if I grab a hold of this brake rotor or brake caliper here, you can see, maybe you can't see on the camera, but it's not a lot of play. Like this, it looks like even less play, but when you get the large 30-inch tire on there, it equates to a little bit more play. But anyways, the bushings right here are a little worn. What we're going to do, they are greasable. We're going to grease those up, but it's not going to take that play out of it. So we'll have to replace them here in the future. Brake pads look about the same as the front. Maybe, yeah, no, about the same. They definitely get some scarring on the rotors, so I would recommend when we change them next time, or whatever he wants to do, that we put new pads and new rotors on this thing, because those grooves are going to wear into the new pads very quick. But it's all up to the customer. This thing is in very good shape. 3,000 miles. These bushings are expected. Polaris usually wears out a little quicker than that on my machines anyways that I've seen. Go ahead, swap this tire out. We'll get that on here. Alright, so if we come on over to this side, on the passenger side of the rear, same thing. Bearings feel very tight. Bushings got some play in them. So recommend replacing those on the next go around. I would replace them this time, but I don't have the parts. I'd have to order them, and he wants to ride this thing tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna pull this tire off, and we'll just handle that next time. Take that off of there. Let's see. Yeah, hard to keep the camera steady when I'm holding it and moving it, but basically it's twisting this way. Pad, same thing. Brake pads are same as all the others. We'll swap this with the front driver's side. Get that off of there. There. Now that we got that done, we can drop her down. Now I can come in here, start tearing stuff down so I can access that clutch. Okay, so at this point, as you can see, I got the seats removed, got the console removed. Now I gotta remove this panel on this side to access the clutch cover. Now somebody had obviously put some heat and sound deadening material in here, but the problem is they put it like over everything instead of underneath the panels. So I actually had to cut all this out to get the console out, and same thing with this. They have it over the floor panel here, so I'm gonna have to cut this. And this is pretty rugged stuff, but just adds a little bit of time to the labor here. Alright, with that out of the way, we can access in here. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. These things are definitely a pain to get to. You gotta remove a lot of stuff. You know, as opposed to like a Polaris or Can-Am where they design the machine to just pull the clutch cover off without pulling anything out. Yeah, these are probably more of a reliable system, but they are a pain to get to. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pull this primary clutch holder off, and then the primary, secondary, and we'll take everything out and inspect it. As you can see, got it all pulled out of there. Go ahead and take a look at the primary. This is the inner sheave. Starting to get a little wear here and on the outside, but overall this thing's in pretty good shape still. Same thing, the outer primary, little bit of wear. It's not perfectly smooth anymore, but it's got 3,000 miles on it. So if we come in here, probably can't see, but it's starting to cup a little bit right there in the center. Overall, I mean, definitely usable. We'll go ahead and tear this primary apart. See how the rollers and the sliders look and everything. So yeah, get the cover off, remove this. We can certainly see that the clutch grease is hardened up a little bit. The outer is still soft, but inside's very hard. Rollers, we'll pull them out and check. So I went ahead and cleaned everything up. Not really any wear on these ramps where the rollers ride, so that's a very good sign. We're going to get into here next and clean these up. I was actually expecting this to be a lot worse. It doesn't have a lot of engine hours though, so probably not a lot of heat. But I know where this guy rides in New Hampshire a lot, Pittsburgh, and it's kind of dusty usually. So usually your dust will get in here and it'll harden with this, but it also takes heat to do that. And this stuff is, you know, it's starting to harden a little bit on the outside right here. We'll have to scrape that out of there. But it's not horrible for 3,000 miles. This has never been serviced either. Alright, so I got everything cleaned up. Still a little cleaning to do, but for the most part, just to inspect. The slides are in decent shape. Got a little wear right there, obviously. These are cheap. These are a couple dollars a piece, maybe even less than that, and you get 8 of them. The rollers, you're talking, you know, around 15 bucks a piece. Might be able to get them a little cheaper than that. Depends on where you get them and if you go with stock or aftermarket. Now, the rollers, most of these I cleaned up and they're in pretty decent shape, but I did find um, that one. This is probably the second worst one. It's got a little flat spot right there, as you can see. So they're starting. And was it this one? I put it over here. This is the worst one. So it does have a flat spot right there starting. A little hard to see, but you can see it when the light reflects right there. So I did call a local dealership. They didn't have any in stock, of course, surprisingly. I did talk to the owner, told him they didn't have any in stock. I can throw these in. He had seen my other video on my machine where I changed out my weights to heavier weights. This machine right here, and mine were still in good shape, only have 1,300 miles on them. This machine right here, the 2-seater, comes with 18-gram weights. My 4-seater came with 20-gram weights. The owner of this ordered 22-gram weights. He ordered all the parts, so we're going to rebuild this next year. So for now, we're just going to throw it together. But he said, if you want to get rid of your old weights, which I can, I put heavy weights in mine for like an overdrive. So the heavier the weights, the lower the RPM is going to be at a higher speed. So or at the same speed. So if you're doing 40 miles an hour, say you're at 6,000 RPMs with the stock 18-gram weights, you go up a little bit on the 20-gram weights. It's actually at 40 miles an hour, it's going to be a little less, maybe 5,800 or something. They're not much difference. They're only 2-gram weights difference. So, yeah, I went and grabbed mine. These are off my 2021 Yamaha Rmax XTR4. Clutch weight, stock, 1,300 miles. So we're going to go ahead and I'll double check to make sure there's no flat spots on these. But when I took them off the last time, they looked brand new still. So I'm going to change these out. He wants these in there rather than, a flat spot on his. So like I said, everything looks pretty good. The ramps here are good. Inside here, everything's nice and smooth. So yeah, the main point of this video was to see, without servicing the clutch, 3,000 miles later, low hours. So this has been, a 30, 40 mile an hour machine most of its life. It's got 100 and 50, 80 hours, whatever I said. But this is what you should expect to see if you ride it like that for 3,000 miles. A little bit flat spots on the rollers. Definitely recommend replacing these. And then the slides, little wear on those. We're going to replace those as well next time. This time we're just going to throw everything back together with new grease, my rollers, and call it a day. All right, so I went ahead, checked all my weights. They look great, the rollers there, and no flat spots at all. So went ahead, installed them, greased everything. Now we're going to throw her back together. Just like that. Make sure everything's nice and smooth. We got a good layer of grease on the slides. We got a good layer of grease on the rollers. You don't want to get, you don't want to load it up in there, but you do want to make sure there's plenty. So I'll go ahead, put this all back together, then I can check out the secondary. All right, getting the secondary apart. This is ready to just pop off of here. As you can see, the grease is looking a little old, so we'll get some new grease on, fresh grease on there. And all the little roller pins are in good shape. Everything's in good shape still. So I'm not sure if he's planning on replacing those, maybe doing a slippery washer next time. I don't know. But for this time, just going to clean it, service it, re-grease, and throw her back on the Rmax. All right, now that I get the grease cleaned out of there, you can see where those pins ride. It goes from there to there. That's where the wear mark is. But it's really not a wear mark. I mean, you don't feel any grooves or anything. It's just, that's where those pins ride. So everything looks good in there. Like I said, they look great. So we're going to grease this up, throw it back on. I forget to show you the sheaves. Sheaves are in pretty good shape. Obvious signs of, just a little wear, but it's normal. Of course, I go ahead, hit it with the 320 grit sandpaper, and then brake clean to clean everything off afterwards so it gets a nice grip. I did the same thing with the primary. As you can see here, everything's greased in there, and then I also greased the pins. We'll just slide all of those in, get them in there. I like to just go ahead and throw a little grease in. each of the slots. We'll wipe away the excess afterwards before we put this together. I want to make sure she rotates nice and smoothly. Beautiful. Then I'll just put this back in there. We'll go ahead and install the rest. Time for my spring compressor. Okay, this is back together, all torqued down, marked it. Went ahead on this primary support cover here. I took the steel cover off, re-greased in there, and that's ready to install as well. So I did take a measurement of the stock OEM belt. This is the original one with 3,000 miles on it. It's supposed to be 36.5 millimeters. That's the service limit. We're at 36.51 right now. So within spec, we're still going to use it, and we'll keep chugging along on this thing. While we're at all this, we're going to go ahead and change the oil out. We got the tank to drain, and then we got to dry it, and then we got to drain the engine. We'll go ahead and drain the engine side. That's still dripping. I mean, it's used oil, but there's nothing horrible about it. Got 2 plugs on this side. Get that old filter off. While the engine oil is draining, we'll go ahead and remove the transmission drain plug. Get that draining out. We'll see how. Oh, that stuff looks brand new still. That's great. This is just for my peace of mind. Tight, tight. New filter. Tank is torqued down. I don't want to get too many things going at once, so right now I'm going to go ahead and fill the engine up, and then I'll put the drain plug in the transmission, fill that up, and then I'm going to do the diffs too, front and rear. So transmission, that stuff looked brand new. Very impressed with that. Now we are draining the rear differential fluid. Yeah, a little milky. Alright, and the front differential. Yeah, that needed a good changing too. See how gray it is? Right, rear is full. Front differential is filled, 0.33 quarts. Alright, just want to check, make sure the air filter is clean. I'll blow it out. There she is. It's actually very clean. That filter's cleaned. The overflow was a hair low, so I topped that off. Not bad, just a little. Pulled the spark plug out on the right side. It is in beautiful condition. So we're going to pull the left side. I expect it to be just about the same. And there's the left side. Very good condition. I believe I'm done. The last thing to do is take it out of here, give her a good washing, and then take it for a little test ride. Alright, service is complete. Washed her up a little bit, but man, that stuff is caked on there bad. It would take a good detailing to get her real clean, but it's way better than when it got here. Let's go take her for a ride. There's seatbelt on so it doesn't holler at us. Feels good. Freshly serviced clutch is going just how it should, and this thing's ready to go. I'm ready to hop on something else. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.